will allow a question and answer session. So I would like to begin with Representative Scott.
Good afternoon. How you all doing this afternoon?
Good afternoon.
I am State Representative Sandra G. Scott. I represent District 76, which include Clay and Henry County, out in the Ellenwood Rex area and out in the Fairview area of Henry County. I have been a legislator. This is my 6th year. I am the chair of the Clayton County delegation. I'm here tonight because this is so very, very important to all of us, and especially to people that are in the South. This is really not affecting the people up north, because we all know that they say that they are the Mecca, but I want to tell you something different, that I would put our kids up against some of them any day, because I would know that we have some very intelligent, bright, and smart kids here. And I do know that the teachers are teaching, and we have kids that are learning. So when they talk about our kids are not there, our kids can't do, yes, our kids can do. We have some very smart, very intelligent children, and the teachers are teachers and kids are learning. But we do have some problems, and we're not trying to say that we do not. But the OSD, which is called the Opportunity School District, which is called the Governor Takeover Bill, only thing I want you all to be aware of is you have this paper right here. Everyone needs to take a look at this piece of paper. It has the constitutional amendment that you will be voting on in November at the top of it, where it says vote no. You have that constitutional amendment. And what I want us to do is get away from the word OSD when you're talking to people about this, because that is not in the constitutional amendment. I want you to see what the constitutional amendment says. Shall the Constitution of Georgia be amended to allow the state to intervene in chronically failing public schools in order to improve student performance? Now, if you just went on a booth, how many of you would vote yes if you just went in there and you read that? How many people would vote yes? That is why it is so important, because it is so misleading. It is misleading the people to actually make you think that the state, the government is finna intervene and he's getting ready to make a miraculous change and get away from failing schools. And that's not what's getting ready to take place. What's getting ready to take place is the governor, yes, he's going to take over our schools, but is he going to do anything with them once he takes them over? Then how? None of that is spelled out in anything that you read. Not even the House bill that put it in place. They have no plan of action on how they're going to turn these schools around. If you see what happened in Atlanta, where the superintendent wanted a private company to come in and take over the school, well, that's the same thing this going to do. They're going to bring a private company in. They're going to take over the schools in your neighborhood. And what's going to happen? We don't know. Are they going to do a better job than what we see now? No. But I do know this, that the governor and one person, he going to have a superintendent that will be over these failing schools. It's going to be him and this one man. Can you call this man and talk to him? No. Can you make an appointment to go see this man? No. Whatever he say, he don't need your approval. Whatever they decide to do, they don't need your approval. But if they close down the school in your neighborhood and have to start busing your kids over to another neighborhood for school, no one will be allowed to go in that school building for at least 3 years. That building will have to stay empty. That's your taxpayer dollars will be paying for it. So this is so misleading to our people. And there's still nothing that says that they're going to improve our kids' education. Because first of all, where are you going to get the money from? What they're going to do? They're going to take money from the public school and put in this school. Are they going to make any changes? We don't know, because no one has seen the plan. So what are they going to do? No one knows, but they want you to vote on it that says that they want to intervene in chronic failure school. They could do that now. If they really care, he could really put the money into education and they could do an intervention now. They could do it today, but that's not what they're doing. People, we always say, follow the money. Follow the money and you won't be confused. And we know that the money is not coming to us. It's not coming to our neighborhoods, and it's not coming to our schools. And I can say it was a bill just passed last week where you will be able to now, if it passed in the Senate, you will be able to go on your computer online and you'll be able to see from your county, and here in Clay County, they are going to have to put up how much money they give to each school. You'll be able to see where your dollars are being spent. You'll be able to see what school is getting more money, and it's going to tell the story because they're looking for transparency. Now we're getting ready to be able to go out on the computer and see where's all the education money going. And when we see it, we go automatically know it's not coming down south. It's not coming down south. So I'm going to say to you again, all I need to say, because I want to hear the panel myself, is that when you see this amendment on your ballot, you know automatically you need to vote no, because this is not in the best interest of us. And then people say, well, charter school. No one is against charter schools if charter schools want to do the job. But I'm yet to see that that happens also. I'm yet to see, well, charter school come in and take the kids from the bottom and move them up. We know charter schools are successful because 85–90% of the time they take the top tier. And when you take the top, you can't do anything but go up. But sometimes some of them have a tendency to fall down. And then one thing about it, if you're in one of those charter schools and you don't make the grade, guess what they do with you? They put you out and send you right back to that public school. So you think about it. Is charter school going to be the answer? We have no idea. Is they going to do something better than what's going on today? We don't know. Then the sad thing about it, your teachers will be without a job. Because when they come in and take over the school, they're going to get rid of the principals. They're going to get rid of the teachers. And there's nothing saying that the teachers that they bring in need to be certified to teach. Nothing saying that they need to be certified to teach. What happened in Mississippi, they tell me, my friends, the legislators down there, tell me they brought a whole bunch of little young girls that don't look like us in, didn't have teaching degrees, and that's who they put in the classroom, and they were without a job. They had to move to other states, and they had to move around to find them a job. So therefore, our teachers will start to be unemployed. They will start to lose everything that they have worked for because they no longer have a job. So this is serious. And that is why we need for you all to be here. We need for you all to go back and tell your family, tell your friends, tell your neighbors that we need them to vote no on this bill, because this is not what we need for our kids. Yes, we need to do some intervention, and we could do it with the schools that we have. We could do it with the teachers that we have. We just need the money in order to do it. We need the money, because teachers still have to buy things out of their own pockets. So I'd just like to say thank you all for coming out, and I'm eager to hear what the panel has to say.
Thank you, Representative Scott. And just to let you know that Representative Scott took time out of her super duper busy schedule because she's actually in session. The legislative session is underway right now. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come out and educate us. Now I will have school board member Linda Bryant, and she's going to go over the nitty-gritty details of our schools and explain it from that perspective.
Thank you very much. I do agree with Representative Scott that we do need to vote no when we go to the polls as far as the Opportunity School District is concerned. I'm going to be very much more specific because this is in your area where we are now. We have about 7 schools that are on the CCPR list, which means that that's college and career ready. list. Those schools, let me just go over the schools so that you will know that it's basically in this area. We have Banneker High School, Hamilton Homes, Heritage, McNair, Mount Olive, Park Lane, and Creekside. Now, let me talk about why they would be on the list of what they consider to be failing schools. What they could, when you get on the CCPR list, it means that the College and Career Performance Index is below 60, and that's what they call failing. So, but let me tell you what we in Fulton County, what we have done. We have put in something called the Achievement Zone, which means we gave these particular, well, let me just talk about the schools we gave that's in the Achievement Zone. The schools that we are working specifically and very hard on in the Achievement Zone would be Banneker, McNair, Woodland, Bethune, Brookview, College Park, Bellwood, Heritage, Asa Hilliard, and Love T. Nolan. These are the schools that are in the Achievement Zone. We put in, let me just say this will give you an idea of how committed we are to improving those the scores of these schools. We recruited the best teachers in Fulton County, north or south, didn't matter where they came from. We recruited all of them, was 100 and some teachers. We said to them, we will give you $20,000 if you will go to these schools and stay at these schools 2 years. Over a period of 2 years, you will get $20,000. That, one of the problems in South Fulton, as I see it as a board member, is you hire teachers. You get the teachers coming, the teachers that want to come to our schools have not taught school before. They've been first-year teachers or second-year teachers. And as long as we continue to get first and second-year teachers in schools that need the most, then we have some problems. So what we have to do is we have to recruit teachers who've been in the system a while. A lot of times those teachers do not want to go to the schools that are in the Achievement Zone because there is not parental support, which means you have to get out and go to that school and work with your children. That's one thing. The second thing, reason they don't want to come is discipline. You get in the schools and the children just lose their grip for some reason when they get to school. And then when you call the parents, they say, do what you can. Instead of saying, I will address the issue or coming to the schools. You've got the parents, let me just say this to you. You have got to be a partner with us in education. Because if you don't partner with us, there's just not so much we can do. We only have the children 7 hours of the day. You have them the rest of the time. And I know it's difficult. No, it's not difficult when you have a job that you have to go to and you have to get off the job and you have bosses who say, if you get off this job, don't come back. I understand all of that. But you also have to make provisions to see about your babies. Because if you don't see about them now, the jailhouse will see about them. Do you understand? I mean, they will definitely take care of them and they won't be in the way you want them to take care of them. So the thing of it is I'm saying partner with us. These are the schools that we are having difficulty with. We have put in, as I said, an additional area superintendent to help us. They're just working with nothing but these schools. We have gone out and recruited teachers and said, you want to make some more money? Come and work with us, help us with these students. We don't need first-year teachers in our schools. We do not need that. We need, and if you notice, the schools that have had the longest principals and the longest teachers, those schools are flourishing. They are moving on. But while I'm at this, let me run over here and look on this back page and tell you how much we have improved in 2 years in working with the Achievement Zone. I just have to say this to you. the one thing that I did do, and I have to say this, so you have to excuse me, is I left my glasses at home. So I'm gonna be down on this piece of paper like this to be able to tell you. But Banneker High School started out with their CCPI score at 43% in 2012. They are now, this is not the best, but it is much better. They are now at 62.5%, which means they have gone up 11.6%. This is what you concentrate. Things get right when you concentrate on them, and we're concentrating on them. The other schools, Creekside, started out at 44.5. They've gone up 18.5%. They are now at 79.3, I believe it is, for eyes. I used to be good at this, but board education will take you down when it comes to reading. All right. Langston Hughes started out 64.7. They're at 83.4, which means look how much they've gone up. This is when you start to concentrate on something, it improves. When you, and the last one was, but I'm only doing the high schools, mind you. Westlake went up by 5.3%, and it's up to 84.4, which is good. We are moving the bar up. Southwood is moving up. We had a great superintendent, and I have to say to you, he went all the way to Florida. Vosa, we have just hired a new superintendent. Well, we have not voted on him. We'll vote on him Thursday night. We're hiring a new superintendent who has said, I know how to work with minority students. That was one of the things when we were interviewing. But let me just say this so that I'm not knocking this, but I'm just going to tell you this. People can talk a good game. Yeah. The proof is in the pudding. You understand? So, well, it's not in the pudding, it's in the tasting of the pudding. So the thing of it is we got to wait till he gets here. We don't have to wait. We are working hard now, but we are certainly hoping that he will be greater than the one that we had before. And Avosa was really a South Fulton County person. He really was. And this is why I have not gotten off of the board. I have said this over and over again. I'm going to leave the board when I see that South Fulton has got what it's supposed to be, and you cannot tell the difference between South Fulton and North Fulton. That is when I want to leave. I want to get to that point. All right, I've talked about the achievement zone and what great strides we've made going through having the achievement zone. And I've told you about the schools that's on the Opportunity School District list. So I didn't want to say OSD, but that's basically what it is. So I guess we will wait for questions at the end, but if I missed anything, ask me. I don't mind explaining to you anything that's going on, because I am sitting in the area in which I represent a part of. The biggest part of these schools are not in District 4, the ones that I named. It's only one school that's in District 4, and that is Creekside. The rest of them are in District 3 with Mrs. Maddox. She's the other board member. But I have to be honest with you, I feel like I represent all of Fulton County, and especially all of South Fulton County. So if there's anything, I can help you with, please let me know. Yes, Representative.
Could you explain to them what CRPI means?
The College and Career Ready. I did say that. That's when the students are college and
career performance.
right. That's right. College and Career Performance Index. That means that a student should be able to go to any school when they graduate from high school and be ready for college or a career. Yeah. One more thing before I shut up. We are building a new addition onto Banneker High School. It will be culinary arts, aviation. It will be what else? Culinary arts, aviation, IT.
Isn't it vocational?
It's not vocational anymore, it is the same as vocational, you're correct. But a student can go to his homeschool half a day and then go over to Banneker half a day. And when he finishes high school, he can either have, he will have certification, full certification in a career. For instance, maybe auto mechanics, and you can go straight on into something of that nature. Or what we're doing is the airport. We're doing the aviation part so the students can go to the airport. The other part that's over at Banneker will be, I never can say this exactly the way, but I bet I can make you understand what it is. You know that Tyler Perry got all these studios. And when you go over there to Banneker and you go through that program, you can be hired immediately into one of the studios. The one that's right there at Shannon Mall, that's a complete studio where they make movies. It's not where you go to see a movie. This is where they are making the movies. And then you've got the Tyler Perry thing that's down at, everybody know where Tyler Perry is, so I don't even have to say it. But they will hire directly into those movie making ventures there. So those are some of the areas that will be going, and we will bus children from their schools over to Banneker so that they can get that half day and get the certification. The other thing that we're trying to do at this point, if we get the next SPLOST, we will be building a facility down in Fairburn, right in the behind the college, the university down at Fairburn. Yes, your students will be able to just walk over there, take two years worth of college credits. When they finish with those 2 years of college credit, they can go straight into any university, and they only have 2 years left to finish college. So we are trying to give options, but parents, you gotta help us. We can't be out here where the kids are running wild and not going into all these. There's no excuse for a child not to be able to go find something that they want to do. You know what I mean? Because we're trying to put forth an effort so that it will attract the student to want to learn to do something. And my thing has always been, all students don't go to college. Right. Those who do go to college don't always finish college. And if that is the case, then they need to be able to go to the world of work and make a decent salary. A good example of why I am just passionate about some things is we had a program over at Westlake where a child could go in the afternoon and I cannot remember the name of it, but it was an IT program. And if once you finished it after 1 year, you could go to work for $60,000. How many parents you think brought their students over there? We had to close the program down. I preached, I talked, I told everybody, but we had to close the program because you didn't bring your kids. Yes, Mr.
One thing, Ms. Bryant, I would like for you to tell the group, and I used to think this myself, well, they spend more money in North County than they do in South County. I used to think that until I got involved in the construction piece of it. But they spend way more money in South County than they do in North County. When they finish Banneker High School by itself will be way over $100 million.
That's correct.
And everything in the world that you want to think of is in Banneker High School. But you know what, I kept hearing the word, what they don't want us to do. They don't want us to do that. Y'all better stop talking about what they don't want us to do. If we don't do it, it's not going to get done. Because can't nobody improve us but us. I just want to make sure we understand that.
And the thing of it is that they do not spend more money in North County than they do in South County because of the fact that we have Title I money. We have other monies that come into our schools. I just can't say this enough, and I'm going to say it one more time. Please, people, go to your school and work with your children. It doesn't have to be your child. It can be a grandchild. It can be your neighbor's child, somebody's child. Go in there and help. I see. Do I take questions?
Yeah.
I see your hand.
I just wanted to say that my daughter goes to Banneker High School, and as a freshman going in, I started going in with her. And I've been there, this is my 4th year there, and we have that same issue, what you're talking about, the parents and the people just coming in, supporting the program, supporting what they're doing. And these kids, they want to do right, they want to get involved in things, they want the opportunities, but it's the parents that are just absent. They're just not there. And I have been preaching, because I'm like liaison to over some of the activities there, and I've been preaching. I do communications, I send out emails to parents to try to get them involved in things, and I feel like I'm talking to a wall. We have meetings once every month. I probably have 10 parents there. And it's those same ones that come in and help out each and every time. So I don't even know at this point what we can do to try to get these parents involved, because I don't know if it's because the kids are raising the kids now. I don't know what it is. It's very frustrating, very frustrating. And I feel for the teachers, because there's only, like you said, there's only so much that they can do, and it's not going to get better until we get involved.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Some of the things, I don't live in this particular community, but I do stay on the south side off of this also. But one of the things I have been doing for the last 20 years plus years is trying to get people to participate in the PTA. Now, regardless of what you think of the PTA, it's still $5.
Yes, it is.
$5 a year.
It's
10, excuse me, thank you. $2 a year. Regardless of how many children you get, it's still $10 a year for that household. Now, other things that we can help ourselves, not only the school, but our immediate community is clean up. We got, if you walk down Garbage Road right now, you got garbage all on the ground. It ain't gonna take you no but 5-10 minutes. Collectively, may take a couple hours individually. But collectively, you can do it. And that's help us. And people coming in and invest in the community who don't live in the community. Because we talk about the community as a whole and investing. We can do it, as the gentleman said earlier, we got to start ourselves.
I want to make one more comment before I close. When I say go over to Banneker for these programs I'm talking about, you're not in Banneker High School. This is completely separate. It's located at Banneker. But when you're talking about, as she put it, if you're old school, vocational education, but it's not, we call it college and career ready now.
Yes,
So it's not in Banneker, and you're not in the school with the students at Banneker. This is a complete separate program located at Banneker. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now we will have Wendy Harper with the Georgia Federation of Teachers of Education.
Good evening. Representative Scott just about did my whole presentation beautifully, I might add. I am an officer of the Georgia Federation of Teachers. We are a labor union that represents teachers and school-related personnel. And we are affiliated with the American Federation of Teachers and the AFL-CIO. One thing I wanted to add is that we are not opposed to charter schools as long as they remain under local control. That means there has to be some accountability to the local school board. Also, this bill, Senate Resolution 287, has been trying to be passed in New Orleans, Michigan, and Tennessee. Well, it was passed in New Orleans. And it has just about destroyed New Orleans public schools. We had a parent who's a parent advocate for the New Orleans schools who was with us last week at the Capitol. And she's telling the parents how devastated, not just from Katrina, but also, if I can go over the packet with you, we are going around asking the community to go before your sororities, your fraternities, even before ministers, so they can take it back to their congregation. This afternoon, we were with the 100 Black men, so they could take the information back to their constituents. The language, we already discussed. This is what will be on the ballot. If nobody knows or has not come out to find out of what OSD really means, they're going to vote yes. It sounds good, just like the charter school amendment about 2 years ago. If you look at the bottom, you have our website. It's ga.aft.org. We would like for you to go to our website and read the bill. You will find there's nothing about education mentioned. I would not want to vote on a bill when I don't know where the money's coming from, how my children are going to be measured for achievement. This is, I can't say it clear enough, this is all about money. It's not about education. Unfortunately, on the labor movement, we have some candidates who were endorsed by labor who voted yes. And we have our suspicions why. After reading it, the yellow sheet, if you study this, you can do your own presentations before your neighborhood, your sororities, fraternities, as I mentioned before. It explains what we call in a nutshell. It talks about the CCPRI. It does not measure achievement. It talks about that this is a constitutional amendment. Georgia is the only state that's trying to change the Constitution to put this in. I was told at a meeting, if it does pass, we cannot change it back. It will not be in our lifetime. They'll be changed back. Again, we want charter schools to are under local control. And then the last page, this is from the American Federation of Teachers, a national organization. And if you read it, it shows how you fix failing schools. Number one, you fully fund it. At the 100 Black Men meeting today, they said since Governor Perdue that over $8 billion has been pulled away from public schools. $8 billion. And I said, maybe I just heard 8 million. And he came back, he said, no, billion. And then you wonder why some schools are failing, if they're really failing. Because remember, the governor can define the criteria. And if he gets his hands on these schools, he can change the criteria anytime he wants to. Because it's slated next year, if it passes, he can take up 100 schools. Yeah. And then the next year, he can keep adding on. And these schools will have to stay there for 3 years. If they don't meet his criteria, he can keep them another 3 years. The local board will have to maintain the building. And then as was mentioned, if this passes, I was telling some, I'm a retired teacher in Fulton County Schools. And I talked to some employees. I said, if this bill passes next year, they can walk into your school and fire each and every one of them. I said, the Fulton County Board of Education does not have to pick you up. They may not be able to pick you up because remember, the money goes with that school. They will create a whole new school district. So it also fixing public schools, they emphasize again parental involvement, curriculum, and also collaborate with the teachers and the other administrators about what works in the classroom. I'd like to use this example. That's me going over to South Fulton Hospital and telling the surgeon what scalpel to pick up. And I have never been to medical school. The neighbors, kids, you know, it takes a village to raise a child. And finally, if everybody has this green card, if you want to stay, it's like a mailing list. We will keep you abreast of what's going on, what other information, what other sites we're going to appear. And it will be done primarily, hopefully, if you have a personal email address. Not an employee address, but a personal email address. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a volunteer in Bannerman High School, and I have been there since August of 2012. I'm there all. And I can remember a year or two, I brought more hours of teachers per year. I've noticed that we also have a problem with teachers that care. Okay? I want a teacher that's going to come in for better than more than a paycheck. I've seen that. Because they don't want to be bothered with the students, they'll set them a movie. So the kids are bored. What do you think they're going to do? They're writing on the wall, they're reading out of class. I've noticed in Banneker, we had quite a few of them that were there to be there because they're getting paid. And the attitude, now if you have a good teacher who's really interested in your students, you're going to get that back from the test score. But if you have teachers that really don't care, half the time the students are in a classroom with a substitute, teachers don't show up, and I'm surprised at this. I don't understand how this can go on 1 year after the other. How does a student go through a Spanish class and they haven't had a teacher for 3 months? You understand what I'm saying? I understand where you're coming from, but I'm in the school. I see what's going on. I'm there, and I don't have a kid in Banneker anymore. Okay, I'm a volunteer and I'm there often, and I'm saying, how do you grade these students when they're going through a class and they haven't had the proper education? Do you think that's fair as a student? Do you think that's fair? And they're going home, they're telling their parents, and the school's saying, well, we're doing the best we can. We're trying to get a teacher in there, but that's not going to help that kid on them scores. You got English teachers that might show up 2 or 3 days a week, and then they're getting a substitute, or the substitute shows up late. You got a classroom that has no teacher in it at all. You know, I understand you have a board of education, but sometimes you need to make a trip in that school and walk around it and see what's going on in your school. These are the schools you're responsible for. You need to see what's going on in your school, because I can't imagine a board of education tolerate the fact that this kid here, sitting here, hasn't had a teacher in 3 months. How do you sit there on a board and you're not making rounds in your school? I just don't understand that. I got a problem with that.
Yes, sir.
How do you, I've heard a lot about the performance of teachers, how you grade teachers. And Ms. Bryant, what about the principal? I had 3 children graduate from Banneker. And I remember the principal, I can't think of his name now. Well, he was there for a long time. What's his name? Oh, William Brandon. Was it William Brandon? I don't know. But you brought in another gentleman. He wasn't that good. So how do you grade principals? And that falls on the performance of the teachers in the union. You know, they come in, if I do a poor job at my job, you know, I'm gonna get some type of performance.
We did not, or could not rate the principals.
I can hear you.
We were teachers and paraprofessionals.
Right.
We do not represent administrators in my union.
Well, let me
Because
just
they got conflict of interest.
Well, that's
the area superintendent is the one who deals with the principal. He
Okay.
is the one who comes to the school and deals with the principal. Yes, but the board members don't take a real good look at what's supposed to be going on in that school, because that's supposed to be the principal's responsibility. And if a teacher is not coming to school and this kind of thing, we hold the principal accountable for that. And then if he's not held accountable, then the area superintendent is held accountable. you have a hierarchy that you go through. If I walked into a school, everybody in the school basically would be teachers. And I would not know that unless the principal told me that a teacher had not been in that classroom for 3 months. That would be the only way I would know, because when I walked in there and I did not see the teacher in the classroom, and I said, okay, substitute, supply, whatever you want to call it, how long have you been here? She tells me I've been here 1 week. That's all I know until I go and talk to the principal. Because we hold out, what we have to do is hold out administrators responsible for what is supposed to be going on in a school. And if we don't have good administrators, you don't have a school. Now that's the bottom line, because the school principal sets the tone for that entire school and for the school.
Okay, I have a question there.
Yeah, I just, as it relates to the Opportunity School District, one of the things that when this came out last year was a bad idea. And one of the things that we were concerned about is how the ballot was going to be constructed. Because we know we have very skilled people that write the ballots, so they'll make you believe it. They'll say, when you read this, obviously if you read it, you're going to say, well, shall the state constitution of Georgia be amended to allow the state to intervene, basically to approve? Well, obviously, people, when they read that, they're going to say yes. But the devil is in the details, and when you see the specifics of it, you really have to be educated on it. And I think that we have a communication problem, because we have a lot of people that we aren't being able to get to. There are a lot of young, the lady, she was just here, she talked about that there's a younger generation of people that we're dealing with in a lot of cases. They're a lot younger. They don't necessarily, the way that they receive information isn't the same way that we may have received it. So we have to really do a better job of attacking it really by sea, air, and land, through text messages, through social media, and all these different things. And the paper is good, but on top of that, I feel like we really need to do some other things to try to reach them, because they're not getting stuff like this. They're not here today. We had this meeting, we had this opportunity to come here to talk, and the lady was talking about when you have meetings, if you talk to individuals, I guarantee you that all of them want better for their children, but when it comes down to, there's a disconnect between wanting to know or wanting our children to do better and actually getting out and doing something about it. And I think that if we can try to reach them on a different level, it could help us, but right now we're not doing a good job.
Okay, Okay, I agree with you on that point. So what I would like for everyone to do is everyone to take this information, take it to your church, ask your pastor, can you take a survey or take a poll in your church and ask your people, read that amendment and just see how many people will vote yes. And then that's when you start your education at. And that's what we're going to have to do. Because we all know this is totally misleading. And we have put in legislation to try to defeat this. We have put in legislation where we're looking at trying to take it into court because it's totally misleading and it has nothing about OSD. So when people talking about OSD, they're not going to see that on the ballot. So this is very misleading, but it could be tied up in court for how long if the vote would have come. So therefore, we got to be proactive, and that's why we're trying to come up with ways so we can educate our people on going out to ask people to vote no when they really truly see what this ballot question say. And you know what? And I think that would be something I would do. I would ask my pastor, can I pass out a survey in church? And at the end of the church, I'm going to take it up. And I would just put that ballot question on and say, how would you vote? And that's it. I would just like to see the people's response as to how they would vote. And once I see that, then I would need to come back and I would need to have a conversation. Talk to the pastor about having a conversation. Let them know how misleading this question is and what this question really is about. That is the way we're going to have to try to get to educate a lot of people through our churches. That's why we're going to need to get our pastors on board. And true enough, our school system must get on board. Our school system have contact with every child parent that comes through our door. And they have an address, a phone number, or some type of information. And they're going to need to get on board. We cannot just do it by ourselves. We're going to need everybody to take part if they want to defeat this bill. If they want to defeat it, everyone will need to get involved. That is why it is so important when you hear these meetings that you go and you try to text someone or let someone know. This is totally misleading and what they're trying to do. You know, I tell my people, they're going to close the schools down in our neighborhoods and they're going to make it into a detention center. And then they're going to house your own kids in your own neighborhood in a detention center. Better words, a prison in your own community. Because you're not going to be able to go back in that school and use it. You're going to have to sit empty for at least 3 years before someone can come back in. This bill is designed for 5 years. They take over for 5 to 10 years. If they want to walk out after the second year, they can walk out. They can walk out. It doesn't have to hold them there. So it is so important that we educate our people on OSD. No, it's not OSD. It's called a government takeover bill and what it's really actually about. Thank you.
I don't have any children in school right now, but I just want to say that I think it's very, very important that you start from the bottom. Yes, teachers are accountable, principals are accountable, but initially, you have to get your parents involved. And I'm going to give you an example. When my children were in school, I was on the PTA board. I was the one who went to the school and I did my own survey. I went to the students and I drafted up a handout with permission of the principal, not in advance, because I didn't want to be told no, to give it to every student in that school. I didn't always tell them when I was coming, because by then they knew what my car was. So I had to switch cars. But see, there's always more than one way to skin a cat. So I couldn't understand why the high school at that time always sort of was on top of everything when I showed up. Well, because they had cameras and they saw my car, they got on the PA and said, Miss Beckett is on the campus. So then I said, okay, I'm going to switch cars. And I borrowed my niece's car. They didn't make a PA, but I still showed up. I asked them to give out that paper. And I said, teachers don't have to do it. I'll go to every classroom myself. I'll give it out and I'll play. You would be amazed when you do stuff yourself, what kind of response you will get. The children had no reason to lie. It was not a rehearsal. They didn't have time to prepare. It was write your answers down. I'm giving you 10 minutes and I'm picking up the paper. Very simple. Yes, social media can help because that's the way we live in this world now. But again, you got to be hands-on. Still, I retired from Delta Airlines 4 years ago, after 37 years. I still have my younger people coming to me. Can you help me with X, Y, and Z? And yeah, I'll help them. And yeah, I'll guide them. And yes, I will direct them. Some of the students that I taught, because I taught Monday through Thursday and worked for Delta Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Some of those same students come back to me still. And they're in their late 20s and early 30s. But if you're good, they're going to come back to you. But you have to be an effective communicator.
And that's why we're so thankful that you're here tonight, because now you got something new to show up and talk about.
Well, I shared that even though I was supposed to come here and dance with my compadres here, I decided I was going to stay because I am an advocate for education.
Now, we're going to have to hold a few more questions. Thank you again for that comment. We're going to hold a few questions because we only have one more speaker, and I believe that he'll be able to address some additional issues, and then we'll open up for some more questions. So we have Mr. Norris Haynes.
Thank you. I'm Norris Haynes from the Metro Association of Classroom Educators, better known as MACE. You know, we believe a loose net will catch back teachers. A loose net will catch back teachers. The teachers already know what to do. All we have to do is give them the power and let them teach. They know what to do already. We got to, first of all, the first thing we need to do is stop trying to micromanage teachers with these fake curriculums that don't work. Curriculums like the teachers' keys, that keep teachers captive. We have to remove stuff like the PDP that make teachers, when they try to work, PDP, which is called a professional development plan, that makes teachers have to wash over their head every time they are trying to teach a child. Teachers know what to do. We simply have to let them teach. Let them teach. Now, what the governor's trying to do is simply trying to get the money. Just that simple. He realized that in the poor areas, he knows what the true answer is. He knows how to speak. He knows what the problem is. He knows it's not parent involvement. He already knows that. Government's slow. He knows it. And what he's trying to do is capitalize on it by coming in and trying to come up with a fake superintendent that goes around and only report to him. And we're going to have to vote no on this. It's just that simple, people. We got to vote no. Because what he's trying to do is capitalize on the children that look like me. He's trying to go in and take money from kids that look just like you. It's not about the teacher not teaching. Teachers know how to teach. But when you put administrators in there and you got kids in there saying, shut the F up, and cussing the teacher out every time, and then when you send them to the class, to the principal, he sends them back and want to know what you're doing to fix it. That's the problem. Discipline. Order is the first law of the universe. You get discipline under control, learning will take place. It's just that simple. And what we have to do is stop the government from taking this money so he won't have to be able to give it to his cronies. That's what Nathan Deal want to do. He want to take the money and give it to his cronies, people that support him during the election. That's what it's about. That's it. So what we have to do is make sure that we're on top of this thing by spreading the word. If the governor really wanted true reform, he would have supported John Barge. If he really wanted support, he wanted reform. If he really wanted true reform, he would have supported the Department of Education. 198 schools out of 233 schools had improved within 3 years. But you don't see the governor talking about that. They had made improvement. 198 out of 233 made improvement within 3 years. The school was improved. But yet the government come up with this OCD, Opportunity School District. He's right. It is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for him and his cronies to make money. I mean OCD. Opportunity for his, opportunity. OSD. The same thing. But the problem is this right here. We got to teachers are in straitjackets, and they cannot teach because we're not supporting. That's the problem. You know, and we have to take them out of these straitjackets and allow teachers to teach.
But you've got to start also with the parents so that the children are not making the teachers feel so intimidated that they can't teach.
And that's why I said parent involvement. That's the first thing. First thing, that's what I'm saying. First thing.
One other thing, too, that I want to be very clear on. And I want to bring this point home a little closer to you where we can all understand it. Every school in South Atlanta, is on the opportunity list to be taken over by the state if this pays. Now, let me bring a little step closer for you now. You got the mayor's office, you got the school board, you got all the churches around there and everything. None of them folks out of all them years saw fit to step in and help those schools. You follow where I'm coming from? The whole community is at fault for those schools. Let's not put emphasis on the governor and what the governor might do. The governor do anything. The emphasis is going to have to be placed only on the African American community. We can't get around that. We just can't get around that. We can't get, I don't care how you try to put it and who you try to put it on. It's our fault. None of the schools in North Atlanta is on that list. None of the schools in Fulton County school system, North Fulton, is really on that list. Everything is South. That is a South County issue that's going to have to be addressed by African Americans.
It's not a list yet. You listed the school that was on the achievement zone, right?
I listed the schools on the achievement zone, and I listed the schools that were on the OSD.
Right.
On OSD also.
Okay.
So there are 7 schools in Fulton County there probably was, I think, 26 schools in Atlanta Public Schools. There might have been 15, if I'm not mistaken.
For Atlanta Public Schools, there's like 17, and not every school in the South Atlanta district is on the Opportunity School list. I teach at one of those schools that they are merging. Now, the parents are involved now. The only issue was they did not have the knowledge. They did not know what was going on. Unfortunately, my school, their CCRPI is 76%.
Okay.
The school that they're merging us with, their CCRPI is 46%. So what they're doing is they're quote unquote merging these schools together to increase or make better the other schools to pull their scores up. But what they're not telling the public is we don't have jobs. So we're having to go back and reapply for our positions. I got an email this year being ranked in the top 10% of my school district with my teacher effectiveness measurement and showing over 94% growth academically with my children. However, since I'm part of the school that's closing, I have to start over and reapply. They're not making all the schools reapply, and they only are targeting the South, South Atlanta, and they're merging. I know they're closing Bethune and moving Bethune to a K-8 STEM school. They're taking my school, Venetian, merging it with Conley. They're taking Gideon's and another school. They're all merging. Now, we've had 3 meetings, cluster meetings, and them parents have showed up and they have expressed their concerns and talked about what they feel needs to happen. But unfortunately, it seems like our superintendent, Dr. Kostafis, has already made her mind up of what she's going to do. And what we're trying to do now is educate our parents on what to vote for, how to vote, not to be fooled by all this stuff that's going on. But yeah, I'm part of the trying to figure out where am I going to go next year, because we had our growth. We weren't on the list. But they have their mindset of what they want to do, and she wants to bring in 3 different companies to do this turnaround. But what she doesn't realize, the companies that she's choosing, they had it in DeKalb. Someone said they did that company in DeKalb. It's not working for the children like us in DeKalb. What makes you think it's going to change for Atlanta? So right now what we're doing is communicating with our parents, telling them what's going on. I know I talked to all the parents at my school, like, you need to be at this meeting. And they showed up. So we do have some other meetings coming, but we do have parents in those neighborhoods, in those communities that are showing up, and they're talking to her, and they're giving her a run for her money. They're fighting for what they believe in, and we know that the vote is March 7th, but we got another meeting coming up. Our parents are showing up now, So I think it's the lack of knowledge. They wasn't aware of what was going on. When I sat there and told parents, this is what's happening, this is what's going to happen to your child if this happens, that's when they perked up like, no, we got to stop it. So it's not every school. I think it's about educating the parents on this is what this means, this is what's going on.
That's Atlanta Public Schools.
Yeah, that's Atlanta.
That's Atlanta. What we have done is done the cheat. We are saying, okay, you think you can do better than we can do? We put in an achievement zone. We said by the time you get ready to take over, we will be at a point where you won't be taking over not
one school. Thank you.
Right.
Now this is what I'm talking about.
So that's
what you got to do.
That's
what you got to do.
We are doing the achievement thing.
Yeah.
I told you what schools we're working on. We have the achievement zone in place. We would not do what they have done.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing.
That's not something that Fulton County schools will do.
But that's the superintendent of school that already started their already prior to the governor, this bill being voted in, right?
That's what they did. And what Fulton County has done has said, we will do our own thing. We can do it better than you. So therefore, we put in the achievement zone using our own teachers, using our own everything. We are not getting rid of our teachers. We are not asking them to reapply. This is APS and their superintendent.
Yes.
This is Fulton County, and we are right at the edge of being above the 60% level. So,
right.
We don't need that.
Right.
Go ahead.
All right, I understand what we're all saying. However, my concern is I have a son that finished that Tri-City. His 4 years there, I was very active. I'm still active there. However, we're all doing something that's reactionary. What the superintendent has done, they've already made their plan. They've already done it. The meeting that when we were supposed to be at the meeting, we didn't show up. So this is the situation we're in. So the question is, it's not about, you know, we can all try to get the people together right now and go vote as much as we can. However, the situation that we're in is how do we fight within the system that we're getting ready to be put in? Because we're getting ready, whether we believe it or not, we're getting ready to be put in a situation. So we're always going to be one reacting. So if we're not, we got to have a plan A, and you need to have a plan B. Because if you're in this situation, how are you going to maintain yourself? Because right now, we're trying to get information out because you're trying to get these parents out. Yeah, they're coming out now, but what were they at 2 years ago? What were they at 3 years ago? So let me finish. My point is that we as Black American, whatever Negro, whatever we're going to be today, whatever we decide to do, we turn up and say, once they say they're going to do this to us, oh, now we want to come out of the hole. But when we were, where were you? Where was Creekside when the graduation rate was 40%? Where was Banneker when the graduation rate is 50? How about Tri-Cities at 63? How about Westlake at 65? People think Westlake is this, 65% graduation rate. However, you go to any school up north, it starts at 85 to 90%. That's not acceptable. Yet, when you try to get people to come out, they don't come. They do not come.
But they'll come when it's free.
We don't come. I'm just telling you, we don't come. So no matter what committee, what department, we haven't showed up. We have not been showing up. So because we haven't showed up, this is what we're in. So now that we're in this situation, how are we going to handle ourselves? Because we're in it.
And that's what I was saying earlier. You were right about being proactive, but it's too late. And so now, what are we going to do now? Because the governor he has the power to move forward. So now we have to stop it. So I agree with you on that.
My point is, since they are going to do, okay, worst case scenario, they do this. We can't still be fighting over they doing it, they did it, wow, they shouldn't have done it. No, we're in this situation. How are we going to fight?
Okay, let me tell you how you're going to fight. Because, see, the governor has not won yet. That's what we need to understand. The governor has not won. The governor will not win until we vote in November. That's right. Okay. And so, what we got to do, we can defeat the governor in November by voting no. That is the plan right there. Get people, get them out to the polls and vote no. That would defeat the governor's plan. And then where do we go from there? Once we defeat his plan, then where do we go from there? Because that's all. It's nothing else we can do now but get people to the polls and ask them to vote no. But right now, that is the only thing to stop it. Is to vote no in November. That's it.
Once November is, this is all I'm trying to get. Once November, because you got to be realistic. Out of 1,000 voters on this corridor, the last election, guess how many people voted? 35. Okay, so no. You're talking about something that's affecting them, and I'm just giving you a number. I'm not being a bearer of bad news. I'm just saying, on a realistic basis, that plan A, I'm with it. Get them out the vote, stop it. Okay, but on November, guess what? If they vote, doesn't go in November, when does this go into action?
It's going to go into January.
It goes into effect in January. So you mean tell me from November to January. So when January hits, it's back in the
Okay. One of the things that I encounter as a candidate all the time, most people have no, do y'all know who y'all state representative is right now? Do y'all know? Okay, wait, raise your hand. Just raise your hand because I want to see who knows. Who's your state representative?
LaDon.
Okay. Who's your David Scott?
LaDon.
Wait. Stop right there. Wait, time out. Who's your state representative?
Remember, I don't really.
Okay, but I'm just saying.
But where I live, that's who he is.
Okay, what's his name again?
David Scott.
Okay, let's stop right there. Your state representative is not David Scott. That is the Congress. Okay? And I'm not picking on you, or anything. What I want y'all to understand, this morning, I went and I voted. Now, do y'all know what I probably voted for? Anybody have a clue? Democratic candidate for the ballot. Now, most people have no clue that early voting started. I talked to a legislator today that said, I said, I went to vote. What, girl? Early voting started? Early voting started. Then you got a vote going on in March. You got another election, the one that I'm going to be in May 24th. Then you may have some runoffs. Then you have the November election. Most people have no clue who their state representative is, who their senator, who their school board member is, what district they even live in, who their congressman is, who anything. I mean, seriously, it's not that it's not important to us, and it's not that we're not educated people. We just don't know. When some people ask me, well, if they're not in my district, they'll say, well, I don't know who's running for this, that, and the other, because someone has to come out and tell you, hey, I'm running, vote for me, and this is what I'm about. The whole point that I'm making is that this situation right now is going to be on our November ballot. We have gotten all together collectively, and we have brought this information to you so you know what you're facing, what you're dealing with. And I applaud everyone for being here, because this is Monday night. The Grammys is coming on and stuff after we leave here. It's other things that most people do that, you know, is cool and fun, but the serious business is what we're talking about right here. I went last week out. I went to Love T. Nolan. I went to the New McNair. I went to Hayfield Charter. Do you know that the teachers, the ladies at the front desk, don't even know what Opportunity School District is? They teach. How in the freaking world do you not know? The PTAs don't know. I asked them, you know how much rigmarole I went through just so they can have these little flyers, which I made nice and colorful so everybody can ABC 1, 2, 3 understand. It's a whole lot of bureaucracy to this thing, but the thing, what I'm trying to say all together is, we can't do anything when we don't know what's going on and we don't know what to do. Now, we've defined that there is a major problem altogether, but the one thing we can do is to stop it, two things. Go tell somebody, hey, this is happening. These are some really good information packets that you all have received that have been prepared for you. It has a website. These children, they know how to YouTube, how to do this, how to do that. You know, they can build a car on YouTube. But this website's right here. Just start providing the information to other people. And then, please go vote in November. No excuses. The only reason that we're always defeated in different things is because we don't make the effort. We say it doesn't count. But you all are the exception because you're here. And I'm positive that you're going to do your part in addressing this issue and getting out there and telling people, hey, you know, I went to this meeting last night, and there was this great line steppers, and Glenn Bright from school board came, and Mr. Reese Hayes, and, you know, people from the community. You got to talk about this. See, if something else happened last night, the soldier boy went and got a tattoo on the sword, and everybody could talk about it in the morning. But this is more important. So I adjure you to do your part. If you need us, this is the other thing. I will give everyone a card personally, which most of you might have. I'm going to give it to you again. Also, State Representative Sandra Scott, she's right here. You can also contact me to get in contact with State Representative Ronnie Mabel. If you need to contact his office. If you need to contact Senator Fort's office, I can also provide you that information. If you also need to contact Senator James' office, Ms. Bryant will provide you her information. We will provide you what you need to answer your questions. So I just wanted you to know that. And I'm sorry, I get so passionate about this because it's so important. But is this on Facebook? It's going to be on mine. I'm going to put it on my Facebook. Okay, I'm going to put it on mine. And that's why she has given me free forms, because that way she can put you on her newsletter list, a mailing list, and I'll put on my Facebook, and my Facebook is full of a whole bunch of stuff. My newsletters are full of a whole bunch of information. We're going to get the information out there so that you are not just hanging in the wind, waving the flag. You will have something concrete to share with other people.
Well, what I do is I'm just going to take a picture of it.
Put it on Facebook, yeah.
And then I'm going to put it on Facebook.
That's right.
That's what I do. Take a picture of it. Put the website on it.
charter schools. You had those over here that wanted charter, those over there that didn't end up voting. Now, this is a statewide thing. So what are we doing now with the other district to make sure that this is voted out? Because we can do all we want to in South Florida. But if the other district vote yes, it's defeated purpose. So what are we doing?
Statewide. It's statewide.
Okay, I'm saying, okay, are we commuting? Are we commuting?
That question for you, because the unions have a concerted effort.
Right. I'm going to say one thing. I have a job in Clayton County and Fort County. Clayton County got a totally different thing about this district than what we have in Fort County.
No, they don't.
Let me say this. The school that I'm part of, the school council, gave me totally different information about this, but it has nothing about no OSD. It got other legislation, got other bill that goes on. Now, I'm in Drew, and I've been there for the last 2 years. See, so that's what I'm saying. See, it's a misinformation. And we sit there and we keep talking about what's the solution. You know, because it's 10% always does, but 90% won't. See, so why don't we have subcommittee that's going out, like I said, we panicking, we got November to vote. So, you know, so my question is, what is the solution? Are we making sure that all other districts are on the same page that we are?
What we have done so far, like 2 weeks ago, we had a ministers meeting at St. Philip's, and we had close to maybe 75 pastors to come out. We gave them the information. Hopefully they'll just disperse them among the congregation. Personally, I am going for the next 5 Saturdays to the CME churches. They have a symposium, and I present it there. We have asked people, we have told people, if you have your own meetings, we'll be happy to come out or supply the materials or both. We talk about sororities, fraternities, clubs, whatever. Word of mouth. We also gave the information from our website.
Right, okay.
Look, anywhere that there's a meeting that we can get in and tell them that OSD is bad is the bottom line. This is the bill. This is the bill. It's 14 pages long, okay? And they give you that little sentence, saying the state, and you're going to vote yes or no, but it's 14 pages long. But what you're overlooking is they'll take away your right to your vote count. We elect our superintendents of school, we elect our directors, we elect these people to do the damn job. And then the governor wants to take over and put his people in there, and guess what? They don't report to him. These people report to us. They'll take away your right for your vote to count, and you need to vote no on OSD. The teachers and the students and all this mess, you gotta go to TPCA meeting and fix that. But this man is trying to take away your way for your vote to count. Vote no on OSD, bottom line.
One other thing, I tell you what we are doing. There are 159 school districts in the state of Georgia. And we have something called Georgia School Boards Association. And the Georgia School Boards Association is putting out a vote no on this. So that's every school district in the state of Georgia. Now, whether you go to, one other thing that I just need to say is, it is most important that you vote for your local officials. You need to do local voting, because that's who you can just get to it. If you don't like what I'm doing, Lord Jesus, let me tell you how y'all come to me and tell me what it is you want or what you want to do. It's great to go vote in November for the presidential election. But how many times can you call the president and say, I don't like what you're doing? But you can call me, and if she is elected, you can call her, you can call her. You need to vote locally also.
Amen.
You know, you really need to do your local vote, because that's what's important.
Just like with the athletic school board.
We have already had our local board meetings. One thing you said, it was a shit and a shame. Because a lot of folks didn't come out like they said they were going to come out. My thing is like he had said earlier, now that the cake is in the oven and starting to get done, what do we do now? No. What do we do now? Now that the cake is in the oven, it is baked. What do we do now when this vote, maybe it will, maybe it won't do? What do we need to do now?
You need to talk to, you need to tell everybody you know.
Everybody's not going to do that. And that's what you see. like it or not, because you know why? Nobody came out there and voiced their opinion. So what they did was they went out and got the people who he owed his employees who came in and they did what they were supposed to have did, and they came in and they took over the community. We didn't have no say so. It was a 25-year plan that they had put in. What is the plan for this community?
Let me ask you a question. Would you like to organize a group of people to listen to what I'm saying? Go ahead. You want to put together a group of people. You said how we're going to not. You want to put a group together of people, get together with the unions, and on Saturday knock on these doors. I'm knocking on doors, period, and point blank. If you want, if you want to join me, I'll join you. We'll knock on these doors. You know, we'll get more of these things made, or we'll get more of these from them, and we'll go knocking on doors. Hey, do you know about this? Well, here, let me share this with you, and we'll just do the job. We gotta do what we gotta do. I'm gonna knock on doors. This is what I'm saying. Listen to me loud and clear. I will be knocking on doors all the time. If you would like to join me, if you would like to, for that effort alone, if you want me to join you, and we get together, and we get material, and we pick a subdivision, we pick an area, me, Linda Pritchett, will knock on doors with you. I will give you my direct cell phone number. You call me and say, hey, Linda, we want to get together at Crystal, get together at 600 degrees. It'd be 5 of us. Me and Representative Scott, we have worked elections for friends of ours, other elected officials. Me and her on one Saturday, we knocked on about 300 doors on a Saturday. It was hot out there too. But me and her, I'm talking about just 2 of us. And we knocked on doors out there in, what county was we in? Rockdale. 2 people, 300 doors. Hey, how you doing? Vote for her. My friend, bam. Hey, sticking the things on the mailboxes. We do what we have to do. If you want me to join you, just let me know. Would that help? Would that help?
I'm not saying I'm gonna act like the young man sitting here. The cake is in the oven. Whether this bill goes through or not, what are we going to do now if it doesn't go through? What is our next step?
Very easy.
What is the next step?
You said knock on doors, right?
Educate people all I want to
Right. You said knock on doors. The better idea would be at the Kroger or any store. Hand out the handbill, Take a message from what President Carter did in the peanut case. They went out knocking on doors. And another you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We can do that right now. We not only can bake that cake, but we can put frosting on it. Look, the question is, what can we do now? That's the question that needs to be answered. What can we do now? So it could be that this bill will pass. But what can we do now? What can we do now is getting these 30 schools that we got to make sure that those schools come off that list where they can't be taken on. You want now? That's what we're gonna have to do. Because let me tell you one thing: if we put it in the hands of other people to take them off, we're the ones that's gonna have to take them off. If we take them off, we ain't got to worry about the bill at all.
Okay, I'm a local 732 member with Amalgamated Transit.
Okay.
We meet on the first Monday and first Tuesday of the month. It's too late this month, but I'm not above taking my flyers down. They're MARTA drivers, they're CCT drivers, they're Gwinnett. This doesn't just concern Fulton County, statewide. I would take those flyers and ask them, can I leave them there for their members?
Okay.
You mentioned flyers, I'll deliver you some flyers.
All right. But what about getting rid
All right, my situation is this. I mean, I still don't feel like the question was answered. The fact here is, the reason that we're here at the point where come November, we're going to have to vote on this is because the House approved it by majority and the Senate approved it by majority. We elect our representatives to represent our interests, and I feel like they let us down, to be honest, because the fact is we shouldn't even be here right now having this conversation Because regardless of what Nathan Deal says or does, the fact is, in order for us to get to the point where we're voting on it, before it can get on the ballot, the House and the Senate have to approve it. And during last year's legislative session, it got approved.
Let me just let you know.
Can you hold on 1 second? The fact is, the point that you made earlier about electing the right people, I think, is the thing, because we wouldn't even be here right now had the right people that represented our interests correctly voted appropriately. Now, this is a statewide thing. It's not just our area. It's the entire state of Georgia that has to vote on this. So there's a strong possibility that it's going to get approved because not everybody's looking at the stuff that we're looking at now. We can be as educated as you want, but I think that his point is this. In the event that it does get approved, in the event that we have to go through this, how are we best equipped to deal with it? Because, like you said, once it passes, it won't even be in our lifetime that we can get it undone. So what do we do at that point? I hope that it's not a hopeless situation. I hope that there's something that we can do, some recourse we have in the event that it passes. And I haven't heard anything that suggests what we can do to this point.
Okay, well, let me just say, right now, I think we need to deal with what we're dealing with right now. And right now, the only thing we should be concerned with, to me, right now, is to vote it down and vote no. That's fine. And that's all we can do at this point. Where you said about, yes, we did have 10. We had 10 Democrats to vote for this bill. Right. 10 Democrats to vote for this bill, and this bill won by 1 vote. So it was 10 Democrats that voted along with the Republicans to get this bill crossed. And
You're our representatives.
What's that?
You're still our representatives.
They're still our representatives. So we are where we are, and it is already on the ballot. And all thing that we can do at this point is educate the people to vote no. And everybody has a representative in their area. We got representatives all the way down. But we do have some that we don't have Democrats. So what the Democrats, and what the House of Representatives and the Senate, along with the unions and the education organization, they are sweeping Georgia, going through heavy meetings just like this. This is them decided to have this meeting to try to bring people out to educate people over here, to get people involved and get them informed of what's going on. I'm having meetings on my side of town. We have representatives having meetings all over the state of Georgia, educating people. It's just not the education going on here. Yes, we probably should have more, but then all representatives got to get involved and have meetings in their prospective areas so that they can educate the people on what is going on. I'll be having a meeting in Clay County next week. I'll be going to Henry County next month because I represent Henry County also. But I am willing to go as far as down to Cairo, Georgia, because that is where I'm from, to educate my people that live in Georgia, so I can let my people that live down in Georgia right next to Florida what's getting ready to happen to them, because this affects all of Georgia. Right now, we're just on an education campaign to educate the people to vote no. Once that happens, then we can start from there. But this is what is the immediate thing, is to get people out to vote. When I said what we can do, we already know that we have Saturday voters will be coming up in November. Saturday voters. That got to be the biggest voting day of organizing and pulling together people that we've ever seen before. It's going to be that Saturday voting. What I am going to do in my community where I live, we are going to have the churches, we're going to have parades, we're going to get our Little League football team, we're going to get our football team, our basketball team. We're going to ask for everybody in the community where parents are out doing things with their kids. And we're going to ask them to come out that day and we're going to march to the polls. We're going to have the bands, we're going to have the parents, we're going to have everybody. And we're going to make a move to the polls like you've never seen before out in Clay and Henry County. And it needs to happen all over. I'm talking about what I'm going to do to get my people out in November so that they could be aware and to go in and vote no. But that is what we got to do at this point. All this talking about what done happened and all, right now we got to stop it. And we can stop it by going to the polls and voting no. That is how we can stop it, by going to the polls and voting no. And this is an effort that's going on all over the state of Georgia. All over the state of Georgia. So I thank members for having this meeting tonight to get people to come out, to get them involved, to inform them on what is going on and what is about to take place. Now we got to continue to keep educating. If she has to really we have these meetings all throughout, trying to get people to come in from all different angles and all different walks, to educate them on this bill and what is getting ready to take place. Let them know why we need them to vote no. Why we need them to vote no. And that is how we can defeat this bill and defeat the government and what he's doing. All this other stuff right now, that's all we got is out to check on that ballot. That's it.
Well, we're going to Fulton County. Let me just talk about Fulton County schools for a second. What we're doing, yes, we all need to stroll to the polls and vote no. But what we're going to do in Fulton County, with Fulton County schools, is we're going to get the 7 schools that we have on the list off the list, so the governor will not be able to do anything to us. He won't be able to come and ask for any of our schools. We're working on that achievement zone, and we would love for everybody to vote no, but we're taking, what our goal is to get every one of our schools off the list before he can come up with anything.
Nobody's debating. When it say it passes, then they can make their own rules. No matter what your standards are, they can make their rules to suit themselves.
No, they can't.
If you got 85 and pass it, then I'm gonna make it 86 where I can take over your school.
You're going to have to start wrapping up because you're going to have to start, getting cleaned up and getting out of here. What we will do is, because this is a good conversation and everyone's engaged, involved, because we have probably about 15 minutes before we have to leave the building, I'm going to just suggest, I'm going to thank everyone for being here, number one. All of our panelists and all of you that have come out tonight. But for the next 15 minutes, I'm just going to say everybody just start talking. Everybody, these separate conversations that you all are having and everyone's talking. Let's just finish mixing and mingling and then we'll wind down and then we will dismiss. Does that sound like a plan?